You're listening to UCW Radio. In your face.
If you try to remember, you will lose. Empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water.
All the fighters that ever set foot on this planet, I'm the only world champion, United States national champion. I'm a two-time national kata champion. I was never beaten in kata. Be proud of it.
The Action Martial Arts Power Hour.
All right, welcome to the Action Martial Arts Power Hour with your host, one of America's foremost Wing Chun masters, Sifu Alan Goldberg. Alan, how are you?
Oh, how you doing? Still a little gloomy here from our storm, but we're making it through here.
Yeah. You know, as before we even start the show, you know, I want to say, in case anyone hasn't been listening to the news, on the Northeast, we have been slammed with the devastation of Hurricane Sandy, all the 5 boroughs, several states. And I do urge our listeners to donate to the American Red Cross as we try to build back from this catastrophe that we've seen firsthand. And I'm sure that you would agree with me, Alan.
Yeah, I mean, you know, being here, just seeing it on the news and talking to people is one thing, but when you see what's going on, I was fairly lucky. You know, I just lost my life, but I have friends that literally were devastated, lost their homes, cars, and there were certain areas that literally looked like war zones. And same thing, you know, I already did my donation to the Red Cross, and I was so frustrated because I wanted to get out there in the street, but, you know, you don't know what to do first. And the only thing you can really do if you don't know is just donate to the Red Cross, because they are the forefront right now helping people. They really are.
Yeah, they came late to the game on Staten Island, but at least they're there doing what they need to do. FEMA's there, and National Guard is there. They're doing their thing. That's why we're doing our show remotely, so I really hope that the connection's good enough that our listeners are hearing me at least as well. I know you're coming in clear. I hope they're hearing me. I'm just mobile right now. Next thing, election night 2012. I hope that all our listeners went out there and voted. It's your country, so let your voices be heard no matter what your beliefs are. Go out there and do your thing. Okay, now, in the world of entertainment, you have a number of good people, and you have a handful of great ones. And our next guest is definitely a great one. I'm sure you would agree with me, Alan. You know, he went from bodybuilding as a kid to pro wrestling, tangling with the likes of pro wrestling legends such as Killer Kowalski, to swinging into stand-up comedy and eventually landing some key roles on TV and film. And honestly, it is, without a doubt, my great pleasure and our great pleasure and our honor to welcome the one and only Hank Garrett to the Action Martial Arts Power Hour. Welcome, Hank.
Thank you so much. And it's my
Hank.
I'm sorry?
How you been, buddy? How you been,
Hanging
buddy?
in.
All right?
Yeah,
good,
and
good,
I was very concerned about Alan, and you know, Alan, I was concerned about you right in the middle of that catastrophe, and so I called all my friends trying to reach them, and not having much luck, and so it just kept adding to my worry. But thank God everybody came through.
Yeah, we're coming out of it. It's going to be a long one, but we're going to make it through.
Oh, I'm sure you will.
Just wanted to say one thing also for the listeners. A lot of people have been emailing me, sending me letters, Facebook. The Tropicana is up and running again. There's no problems. They had no damage. Atlantic City, the boardwalk was ruined, but Atlantic City's still open. The Tropicana's open, so our event is still full-fledged, ready to go. And that type of, you got to understand something about the casinos. They only can make money when they're open, so you know they're going to be open.
Yes.
and I need to add something to that. The misconception is that the entire boardwalk in Atlantic City was destroyed, and that is not true.
Oh,
yes, a portion.
Only a portion, only about 20% of it. So the boardwalk is there, and I believe especially by the Tropicana, because they were further down. By the Rebel, it's a different story, but further down, we're okay. So January, Tropicana will be set, boardwalk and all. I think we're going to be okay.
Oh, it's
also, just wanted to add a little something on. I'm working on something right now with Pam Johnson and his wife. We're trying to do even after this is all over, we're trying to do a food drive and raise some money at the event And there'll be more on that once on Facebook for some other things I put out. But when we get a little closer to it, people will know about it. We still want to give back. But I say just now, if you really can, call the Red Cross up, try to donate something. I've done it twice already, and I know many people are doing it. I think they raised like over $16 million in the last couple of days. So, God bless people who are putting their hearts out there and their wallets. So, well, let's get away from the unhappiness for a while, and let's get back into radio land here. Okay. I got my good friend Hank Garrett on line. And Hank, could you tell us a little bit? I know you have a new project you're working on.
Yeah,
I'd love to hear a little about it.
I've written a book, about my life, on the streets of Harlem. Of course, I was a hoodlum most of my young life, and so it's called Up from the Sidewalk. And yeah, I was always in trouble. And
I still saw your picture in the post office the other day. I thought it was you. Okay.
Was there a number across my chest?
Where are you?
And you played a copy at it, which is the worst part. It's copy before.
But two people actually got me off the street, and one of those people was Sammy Davis Jr.
Really?
And because I was always, as I said, always in trouble. My mother she was crying to a gentleman who was the mayor of New York, a guy named Willie Bryant, who came to speak to me, and first thing he did was knock the cigarette out of my mouth. And he took me, with my mom's permission. He said to me, "Do you have a suit?" And I said, "Yeah, I've got a suit." And he said, "And take a bath." Mm-hmm. And he took me to the Apollo Theater to see Sammy Davis Jr., introduced me to Sam, and he had already spoken to Sam. And Sam said, you have a couple of directions. And one of them is either go to prison or get killed, or the other is to change your life. And 20-some-odd years later, I was opening for Tony Bennett at the Sands in Las Vegas. And
wow.
Sam was in the audience with Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra. And Sam said to me, first of all, Frank gave me a standing ovation when I got through, and it was I just couldn't breathe.
Mm.
And Sam said, "Where do I know you from?" And when I told him, we both broke down and cried. It was just an amazing time of my life.
Wow.
Yeah. So I owe so much to these people. Wow.
Yeah, sometimes you meet someone in your life, just that little switch you need just to turn that switch on,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow. Just turned my life
You have to be open to it, too, Hank.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's
obviously
funny, but I started in martial arts because I wanted to be a better street fighter. And through martial arts, I learned humility. And I didn't want to be a tough guy anymore.
Mm.
My teacher, my sensei at that time, had just come from Korea. And just the most amazing experience of my life. Also, a mind and body changing, just being exposed to the martial arts.
Well, you have a very, very rich background with everything in your life, and you tell the audience a little bit about what you've done in Hollywood and TV and other things.
Well, I had a television series with James Earl Jones, which was kind of short-lived. I was co-starring with him. But the most notable thing was the movie I did, 3 Days of the Condor, where I did my own fight stuff, and it wound up winning me the New York Film Critics Award.
Wonderful.
Yes, it was very exciting, but there too, martial arts. It changed my life completely for the better.
And recently, I'll have to say it like this. Ooh. Could you tell us that story?
Joey Ross. But I got to tell you something, Alan. Meeting you has been such an incredible experience for me. I knew of you years ago and never had the pleasure of meeting you. And then going to your event, meeting you, the kind of guy you are, and absolutely fronting, giving this incredible experience, and meeting martial artists from all over the world who come to honor you. And it's, wow, what a mind-blowing experience, Alan. And I am so honored to be in your presence.
Well, I'm not a Sammy Davis Jr., but anyway, I do appreciate it.
No, but
you know,
to see you operate.
I try to give back to everybody. I want everyone to be happy. And, you know, I realize building that family in the martial art world is really what's important. I always tell people, you may not like me for what I stand for with certain things. I'm not a guy that holds my tongue, and you know that.
Yeah.
I say what I want to say, and, you know, I'll back it up also, so I have no problem with that either. But, you know, I always try to say, if we all could just, you know, hey, we all can get along. We're never going to have problems, but when the egos and all the other crap gets involved, that's where it starts. And I tell you truthfully, I'm still nobody. I'm just the guy that runs the event.
You
know, it's you guys that come down and be part of it that makes it what it is.
Alan, we wouldn't be there if it wasn't for you, Al. Please understand that. You know, I'm invited to events all over the world, and I've been to a lot of them. But, boy, they can't hold a candle to the event that you have, because everybody every year looks forward to the next time that we get together at your event.
Well, let me tell you, it's not easy. I'm putting together this year's event. I still got a little less than 3 months, and now a lot of things are happening for me, so it's good. We have a lot of new stars coming in, and I always say, just become part of the family, such as you did,
Yes.
And it's funny, after my event, you came to me and you thanked me and everything else, and we kept in touch after that. And then one day you said something to me, and I don't know if you remember you saying it to me. I think it was like the second or third year you were there, and we made friends. You looked at me and goes, you're one of my best friends, Alan. And I just looked at you like, wow, this guy, and the audience would know, Hank is not a youngster, let's just put it that way. I've been around the block a few times.
Yes.
A few times. What are you, how old are you now, 71?
71.
71 years old, God bless him, okay? So Hank's been around. Hank said that to me. He don't know this. I'm saying it to him the first time. That was very heartwarming, and I think that's what made the endearment that I got for you by you opening up to me that way. So it was, it's not just a one-way street, and I really did appreciate that.
It's family. It's the family I never really had.
Well, if I can add on to that, as far as Hank is concerned, I believe a man can be judged by his actions, and one thing that Hank has shown is his honor. He's shown his ability to give without even wanting anything in return, and he showed that at a charity event that we did a couple of years ago, and without question, he just showed up. Like Don Wilson did, and like James Blue and Phil Morris, everyone showed up, and he was there when he didn't have to be there, but he did it because it was a charitable thing, and that was from the heart. I needed to say that because that shows your character, and you don't have to do these things. You've been, as Alan said, you've been around the block. You've done things that people wish they can do, and you still keep giving, and I appreciate you as a human being. And that's the good stuff. You're more than welcome. And what I want to do, if I can do this, just so our listeners get a grasp, because your history is rather vast, and I'd like them to kind of understand how you actually got involved in martial arts so that they can learn a little something from you.
Well, as I said, I was a street tough guy, so I thought. And I met a gentleman named Min Pai, who had just come from Korea, and he started a class, and I thought, this will be helpful when I get into a fight on the street. And when I went into what was his dojo, he had rented a room in a hotel, and I walked in, and first thing he stopped me, and he said, take your shoes off, and also bow to the flags. And to your teacher, my sensei. And I thought, what is this? And somebody said to me, you're going to run around in pajamas? I said, no, it's called a gi. So they said, yeah, I got one of them. And suddenly I started attending classes, and wow, I could not wait for the next session to start. And I was just, as they say, I was hooked, and it became my mother and my father. I no longer had the need to be on that street fighting. Had nothing to prove. So I just learned. Then I wound up going to train with Peter Urban in the Chinatown Dojo, and that's where I got my first black belt.
Yeah. Okay. Peter well. Yeah.
And so the art saved your life pretty much, along with Sammy Davis.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But
now for our audience that doesn't know much about your other background, could you tell people some of the TV shows and other things you did?
Oh well, first television series I did was Car 54. Where Are You?
There you
I
go.
was playing Nicholson on the show, and I was Al Lewis's partner. I was 18 years old, and 17 I was wrestling pro. 16 I was working up at the Catskills as a comedian, and it's been a miraculous life. It has been, and it continues to be. But I got to tell you, Alan, I have never, ever, ever felt so much humility to being with the greats of martial arts as that I meet at every one of your events. People that I've read about, people that I heard about, legends. And I keep saying to myself, my God, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
These people
it's
are
funny.
giants.
It's funny you say that. I had Ray Mercer there last year, who's actually coming back again this year. And Ray was so excited. He was running around like a little boy. He said, you got more, masters here and movie stars than I have ever seen in my whole life. And I'm laughing. I'm saying, Ray, you're one of the big names here also. But he didn't look at himself that way. I think that's what happens at my event. That you meet so many people there, so many great people. Like Martin Cove was on last week, or 2 weeks ago. He was talking about, he goes, I came to your event and I met all these great masters and grand masters because I was in awe. And they were in awe with me.
Yes.
I said, that's the magic of the event. That there's nobody there looking to outdo each other. And that's the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
And Joe Louis felt the same way.
Oh, they're all amazing. I mean, the Frank Shamrock. And all these people that, you say, oh, my God, these people are incredible martial artists. These guys were all champions.
Yeah.
And to be in their presence, it's wow, I'm like a kid in a toy store.
Yeah. I sometimes feel that way. And then, it's a very funny thing. One of my very dear friends is Chuck Zito. And now he's on the Sons of Anarchy. And I watched the first couple of shows, and I was getting real pissed. Because I really thought they were jerking him around a little bit because they were giving him these tiny little roles in each show. Literally, I mean, you see him for 2 seconds, he was off the show, and that was it. And finally, this past week, they really gave him a real beefy role. I mean, he was on a good part of the show, and I know this week again he has it. And I'm saying to myself, well, thank God. So now, when I look at you guys and I see you on TV, even Hank, I see you on different shows, and I never even knew you were in that show or that movie. And I look and I wake up, there's Hank, oh my God, or there's Phil Morris. And, I don't look at it as starstruck, of course, but I look at it because I feel that accomplishment that you've made, that you're my friend now. Yeah. And I look at it and, here's my guy, man. Look at that. That's my buddy right there, And it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling.
It's a great feeling, Alan. I mean, as I said, it's being in the warmth of your family's arms. And we just have the greatest time. John Pellegrini.
You do. I got to work. You have a good time.
So you have fun on Fridays, Alan.
Huh?
You have fun on Fridays.
Yeah, well, actually, I usually have fun after the event. That's what I mean. But it is definitely an event. I mean, I put on last year. I know we did that little Thursday night party. We had dinner for everybody in the Chinese restaurant, which is real nice.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think that, and I'm trying to do those things so it loosens up a lot of what we do. So when all the celebrities, and we had 20 celebrities sitting at the table that night for dinner.
Yeah.
And sitting there and enjoying it, you know, nobody there at that table had anything. I can't even say an inch of ego. It was all just, hey, this is my buddy over there. That's my buddy. And the people working in the hotel there and came out in the restaurant was sitting there with their mouths open. They couldn't believe the people were sitting at that table that night.
And all we kept saying was, pass the egg rolls. Give me the...
Yeah, there you go. Give me the moose shoe chicken. You know?
It was fantastic.
So that's what I try to build, that camaraderie. So, and you know, there's a lot of guys out there, and you know, when I say this, you may not even believe it. There's a lot of people out there that don't want to support what I do because they just think, oh, big deal. You know, look what they're doing there. Because it is definitely a form of jealousy. But I tell these guys, you don't understand something. My event is not my event.
Yeah.
My event's the martial arts event. It's the destination to come and be part of that event.
Yes.
No matter who you are.
Yes.
So you can be, you know, the first degree black belt, but still rub elbows with everyone else that's at that event. And, you know, that's kind of what I try to do every year, you know, trying to make it. And we did the wine and cheese party and you know, so on and so forth to add on to it.
It was marvelous.
And, yeah, well, again, it was marvelous for you guys. No, I actually had fun at the wine and cheese party this year. I had a couple of drinks and I did a little dancing, so it wasn't bad for me.
Well, I can interject.
I got to keep Gary DeGawi off the tables. That's all I got to do for next night.
Yeah, you need to do that, please.
Yeah.
But I was going to interject and just say, you know, I mean, Hank, you can, you know, agree with me or disagree with me, definitely. But I know at a lot of events, people that have the events actually put themselves in the spotlight. And they do that time and time again. I guess it becomes an ego thing. And for me, I really don't care about that. But Alan, as I told you, that you and I know each other for over a decade now, and the reality is, not one time have I ever seen you go up in that podium. People have to drag you up there to give you an honor and bow down to you because you didn't want to go up there because it wasn't about you. It never was. And that's what makes it special. And I say that's an unbiased thing, or people may think it's biased. It's unbiased because it's a reality. And again, you can agree or disagree, but that is the truth, and that's what it is. I just want to say that.
And I appreciate it. I just don't want it to be about me, you know. Let me put it this way, a very, very plain, simple way. And this is Joe Lewis, my good friend, recently passed away. He said this to me. He goes, everybody knows it's your event, Alan. You don't need to make people know it's your event.
Exactly.
They know it already.
You know, they don't call it the martial arts convention or action magazine convention. It's Alan's convention.
Yeah, well,
it's true.
Anyway, I know, but I try to get away from that too. You know.
Well, the thing is, Alan, wear the halo because man, it fits you.
I appreciate that. You know, I just when you say that, I really I just hate the other people in the audience that don't know me and hear that and go, this guy. I really, if the audience listening, I just want to be out there to do good things for everyone. You know, don't get me wrong. I also do it to make some money, and that's what's kept my magazine alive for God bless, going on 23 years already. But I enjoy the event, build up to it. Then I get to it, and I love what I'm doing. Then at the end, on Sunday night, I always say, I'm not doing it again. It's it, the last year. I give you a very funny thing. Last night, my son was sitting at the table, we're eating, he goes to me, Dad, he goes, let me ask you a question. His wife, he goes, how many more years are you going to do this? So I look at him, I go, I don't know, Greg. I says, maybe 7, 8 years. I don't know. I can't give you a time limit. He goes, well, let me just let you know. He goes, if you decide to give it up, I'm not doing it. I'm not taking it over. So I looked at him, why? He goes, because I don't want to lose my hair like you did.
Oh, that's funny.
And I looked at him, Craig. He goes, no, because he's he watches me. He's home at night. He's on the computer all night long. And he goes, I don't know if I can do that. And I said, Craig, every year people ask me how do I do it, and I tell them very simply, I don't know. I can't give you a recipe. It's just a matter of, I know I have to get it done, so I do it. And I always look at it, and, some of the people that are close to me know what I'm saying about this. I never look to save money. I never look to make extra money where, I can't do things the right way. And I always look to overspend to make it what it is.
Wow.
And if I get I have a sponsorship coming in, I spend it on people. I don't just take it and put it in my pocket and buy myself a new car or buy whatever it is. Maybe I buy a pair of boots. I can't lie about that. But
you get Oak Tree.
Yeah, you give me my other one. But I just like what I do, and when I have extra money to do something special, I want to do it. And it's just it's made the event that much better. And the ironic thing about it is I'm so lucky that I have new people that come in all the time, but I have tons of people that have been coming 10 years, 11, 12 years already.
Sure.
Won't miss it. And that's the amazing thing to me, that people
yeah.
just want to keep coming back. And I always got to say, well, I got to do something new and do something new. And they're going to, you don't have to.
And I look forward to seeing the new outfits you wear.
Yeah, I haven't bought it yet. I'm starting looking next week.
I think snakeskin suits may work for you.
Oh, my
I had the snakeskin already, though. I did the snakeskin. Did the alligator. But I actually do this. I have a new pair of boots I'll be buying very soon. That's another story.
Oh, my God.
Hey, so Hank, tell us, you're working on this book you're doing, okay? And when do you think the timeline is that you'll have this thing out?
Well, I'm going to be doing it as a one-man show. It's going to be with slides of my streets my life on the streets, and then being the pro wrestling thing, and then from there to the clubs I worked around the country.
Mm-hmm. Tell us a little more about that pro wrestling. What were your names as a pro wrestler?
Hank Daniels, the Minnesota farm boy. I'd never been to Minnesota, never saw a farm.
Yeah, you're from the Bronx, right?
Yeah, from Harlem.
Harlem, okay. All right, that's funny. And that's why I have a lot of this year. I can't actually say it yet, but we do have some other wrestlers coming in this year. We did have the fortune. We had Jimmy Snuka there. I know you got along
Jimmy.
Great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and something. I hate to tell you, I can't find him. I've been trying to find him and track him down.
Really?
I think he's a little. Yeah, I think he was ill for a while.
Oh,
yeah.
he had surgery of some sort.
Right, he had a foot surgery.
Yeah. So, but I can reach out to him. We'll talk after the show.
Okay, yeah, because I haven't been able to find him. I had one number and it's not connected anymore.
Is it terrific?
But we do have a couple other wrestlers all coming in this year, so you'll be in your glory, Hank.
Oh, wonderful! In fact, Jimmy was the last guy I wrestled when I was in the business, and I was not supposed to wrestle. I had the deal with Car 54, and they said,
really?
No more wrestling. You get hurt, you're going to hold up production.
Right.
But I had to do it one more time. And who do I wrestle? Jimmy Snuka.
Who won that one?
Gee, I really can't remember.
That was a good answer. I got the answer anyway. Okay, no.
Too funny.
And also, you have a very famous voice. I know you did some voiceovers, and could you tell us who you did that for?
Yeah, I do cartoon voices on. Now I'm doing Garfield.
Yeah.
So I was doing Fluffy and Fast Eddie, and they're introducing a new character from Brooklyn who sells comic books to Garfield.
Really?
And also I was doing the voices on G.I. Joe.
Yeah. Very cool. So you're out there, folks, listening to G.I. Joe or that, you'll know it's Hank.
Hank, you are so humble. You're so humble. You've been... we're trying to drag stuff out of you, and I know you don't want to puff your chest out, but you've been on Columbo, Twilight Zone, Kojak, Dragnet. You've done a lot of things on TV, film. You worked with some of the greats from James Coburn, Al Pacino, Peter, and you've done a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
That people, they love to work with you because of how you are as a person. I said that earlier. And I know you don't like to toot your own horn, but we have to toot it for you. Because you're one of the greats in the Hollywood business, in the entertainment business. And again, you have good people, you have great people. You're one of those great people that have done a lot of things. And anyone that's listening, kids, youngsters, you're listening. You want to look up to somebody. Look up to this man, Hank Garrett.
Thank you.
Because this guy, he was there on the bad end of things, and he turned a bad situation. And look at him now.
Thank you so
and
much.
he's still doing it.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome. It's my pleasure to say that because it's 100% true. On that note, what I want to do, and since you mentioned it, Alan, you mentioned Joe Louis, I want to go to a quick break, play the tribute to him, go to some commercials, and then we're going to come back on with Hank Garrett, Sifu Alan Goldberg, and we're going to have your special co-host coming on in a minute, Alan, as well. Yeah, so we're going to come. We're going to be right back, and I want you guys to stick with us and call in if you want to, as we're here live with Hank Garrett.
Thank you so much.
Our story tonight is about a character, a rather famous name character in Joe Louis. No, it's not the Joe Louis that we know, the Bronze Bomber. This Joe Louis is from Los Angeles, California. He's arrogant. He idolizes Muhammad Ali. He can kill a man with one blow. He's really a rebel in every sense of the word.
All the fighters that ever set foot on this planet. I'm the only world champion, United States national champion. I'm a two-time national kata champion. I was never beaten kata. Be proud of it.
The Action Martial Arts Power Hour.
You're listening to UCW Radio. In your face.
Audience, say it with me. Legendary. It's going to be 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 legendary.
Action Martial Art Magazine, January 25th, 26th, Hall of Fame, the Legacy Tropicana Hotel. Be there, bigger, better than ever. The ultimate martial art event, biggest martial event in the world. Tropicana Hotel. You want to contact me, 718-856-8070, or go to our website, actionmagstore.com.
I like their size.
I love their texture.
Their shape, feel. They complete me.
Big, small, it doesn't matter.
Yes, I like boobies.
Love boobies.
Yes, I love boobies.
Yes, I love boobies. I love boobs.
Most of us know someone who's been affected by breast cancer.
My friend. My piano teacher.
My sister.
My aunt.
My teacher. My two aunts.
My Aunt Rachel.
I beat breast cancer.
We can beat this together.
Show the world how much you care.
And join us in the fight. Because it's more than just boobs.
It's life.
UCI will ban Lance Armstrong from cycling, and UCI will strip him of his 7 Tour de France titles. Lance Armstrong has no place in cycling. UCI will also recognise the sanctions imposed upon the riders who testified against Lance Armstrong. UCI indeed thanked them for telling their stories. UCI likewise has nothing to hide in responding to the USADA report, and that is also the purpose of today's press conference. And to inform you that the UCI has called a special meeting of the UCI Management Committee next Friday to discuss this report and the measures which the UCI wishes to put in place in order that we are never faced with such a situation in the future.
Home sales activity was at an annual pace of 4.8 million, with a median home price of $187,000. That's up 9.5% from the same time last year. According to Freddie Mac, the national average rate on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage fell to 3.49%, a new historic low.
DDP Yoga. It ain't your mama's yoga. Over the last 12 years, I developed this amazing program I now call DDP Yoga, specifically to strengthen and heal my own body. It's the only reason I was able to wrestle in the ring well over 15 years and 3 world championships. And now, I want to bring this amazing workout to you, and it will change the way you think about the word yoga. DDP Yoga is all about zero impact, kick-ass cardio, increased flexibility, and core strength conditioning. It's like nothing you have ever seen or done before. DDP Yoga. It ain't your mama's yoga.
You're listening to UCW Radio. In your face.
All right, welcome back to the Action Martial Arts Power Hour with your host, Sifu Alan Goldberg, and our special guest from Car 54 and every other major show back in the 70s, Hank Garrett. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Alan, I want you to introduce your co-host, your new special co-host that's going to come on. So you intro him so we can bring him on.
Okay, I call him Mr. History. His Master Joe Rebello has been in the martial arts for close to about 40 years now. And the guys, I was telling Hank while we were on break there, I mean, when I met him, he told me more things about me than I knew myself, and I was not too happy about that. But anyway, I'd like to introduce a good friend of mine, Joe Rebello, Mr. History.
Hi, everyone. How you doing?
Hey, Joe. How are you, buddy?
Doing very well. Thank you for inviting me onto the show. I greatly appreciate it, and hopefully I can add a little bit of historical color into the show, and really appreciate you offering me the position. You know, it's a great show, a great concept, and I'm really glad to be part of it.
Well, you have your own TV show also, right?
Yes, sir. We actually have two television programs. The one that most people are familiar with is a show called Martial Arts Today Television, and it airs in 5 major cable systems throughout southeastern Massachusetts. It's also available through our New Bedford, which is our major, New Bedford, Massachusetts is our major cable system that I work my television program out of. And it's now available live through nbtv95.org. And we're on Monday nights at 8:30 for Rebello's Campo Karate, which is my other show. And then Martial Arts Today Television is on Wednesday nights at 8:30. And we've been on the air for 24 years.
Wow.
God bless. God bless. All right, there you go, man. All right, Joe. So what are you going to add to our conversation, Joe?
Well, I wanted to ask Mr. Garrett, way back when in 1975, I was watching another film, and they had, of course, trailers for upcoming films, and they showed 3 Days of the Condor. And a major part of that trailer was the fight scene where, and I'll never forget it, you coming in as the mailman, suddenly pulling out the submachine gun to shoot Robert Redford, and the fight scene, part of it that at least ensued in the trailer, which of course made me see the film. Well, what a lot of people don't know, first of all, I want to hear about the fight choreography and how you choreographed the fight scene with Robert Redford for that. And then you actually kind of reprised your role in 1998 with yet another hitman, postman kind of feature in a film called Safe House. And if you thought it was appreciate it.
Well, the friend of mine was the producer, and he called me and said, Hank, would you do The Postman again? I said, in what? He said, I'm doing a film with Patrick Stewart. He said, would you please do me the favor and do that thing again? I said, would love to. Yeah.
Well, it blew my mind because I'd seen the first film, and then when I saw Safe House, and honestly, it was just one of the things I just happened to be watching something and turned on, and it's this Safe House, and it was Patrick Stewart, who I actually had met here in New Bedford when he was researching the role of Captain Ahab to do a remake of the film of the original book Moby Dick.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, terrific guy. What a gentleman. Just amazing. As I said, I've been so fortunate with working with the people that I've had the very good fortune of working with.
Well, I think that a lot of people should really, if they haven't seen 3 Days of the Condor, see it. Because, for the time, with everything going on with martial arts films and kung fu movies, there still wasn't a lot of martial arts in American theater, in Western theater. Yeah. And, your performance, should be listed right up there with, we were talking about Henry Silva last week with Martin Cove, who I didn't realize had done a lot of the stand-in work for him for Karate Kid 3, and I'm always reminded of his classic fight scene with Frank Sinatra in The Manchurian Candidate.
Absolutely.
And your scene definitely reminded me of that type of scenario.
It was wonderful, and fortunately we had an incredible director, Sidney Pollack, who is a wonderful action director who's done so many things, and he was Robert Redford's close buddy and his director on a number of films that he did. And it was Sidney, after the film, who recommended me for the award.
Wow.
So he just blew me away, and he said, "You're going to be hearing from the several different areas, and one of which is the New York Film Critics Award. I've nominated you, and I wound up winning it, and it just highlight of my career and my life."
Oh, that's fantastic. You know, we were talking about Sidney Pollack, and I'm reminded of another film he did in an Oriental genre, of course, the Yakuza, with, I believe, Robert Mitchum and Ken Watanabe. And,
yes.
Another classic in cinema. And, he's done so much great work, and especially when someone recommends you for an award of that stature. That's incredible.
Oh, it's amazing. And there's a gentleman that comes out to Alan's event every year who is an incredible actor, amazing martial artist, Gary Takawa. And you've seen him in so many things, and boy, I learned so much by watching people like Gary, and it's mind-blowing. It's an incredible experience to watch these people performing. And you go, wow. When I worked with James Earl Jones, I worked with him, and I watched him every time.
Wow.
And I learned. It's a forever process, learning from the best.
So, well, something I'm going to say for the audience, and I can't really say it, so I'll say it this way. There will be a Mortal Kombat 2. And that's all I will say.
Wow.
Okay, they are planning to make it. They're doing an iPod casting type show on video right now. And then they're talking about Mortal Kombat 2. And I can't tell you how I know it. I'm not going to tell you anything who's in it. I'll just say that it'll be done very soon. Thank you.
I hope you're in it.
Well, speaking of that, we have, of course, Michael Jai White, who is featured in a mini internet series, which is now available on Blu-ray and DVD, is Mortal Kombat Legacy. And originally that was a mini-series that was put out by a particular director as an homage and a reboot, as it were, of the Mortal Kombat series, which also featured Jerry Ryan from Voyager, who played the Borg 7 of 9. Again, it's a very interesting series, a mini-series. If you get a chance to check it out, again, it's really worthwhile, and that really is what really put the boot back in that shot in the arm, as it were, to redo the Mortal Kombat series again. I'm really hoping it follows through. And if you really want to see a great performance, really check out Michael Jai White's performance as Jax in again Mortal Kombat Rebirth on the internet, or the Blu-ray Mortal Kombat Legacy. It's really great.
Wow. Yeah, and as a matter of fact, Mike will be at our event again this year. He's usually been there about 5-6 years already in a row, and I know he's excited about coming back again. So, people come down. When you come to my event, you're just going to meet Joe. I know if you come, you will have a ball, because I know the way you are, the way you like information, and they grab these people and sit down with them. And the great thing about it is they're all open. They're just open to talk to anybody, and that's the wonderful thing about it, too.
Oh, yeah.
So I know a guy like you will have a ball.
Oh. Well, I wanted to, matter of fact, I knew Michael when he was a teenager out of Connecticut, and he used to compete in the crane circuit with the Shotokan Warriors group. And he's such a diversified martial artist and so skilled in so many arts. It's really a joy to see his diversified career. Mr. Garrett, I wanted to ask you another question about your professional wrestling career. Something a lot of people aren't aware of. I actually was involved in professional wrestling for almost 15 years, and one of the people I was involved with was Jimmy Snuka. As a matter of fact, I saw him recently at a local event here in Massachusetts, and it was great seeing him again. And I'm really looking forward to seeing him again at the Action Martial Arts Magazine Hall of Fame this year. And actually, I was just this weekend, I was at the Rhode Island Convention Center with Jake the Snake Roberts and Jim Duggan, and Big Van Vader, a.k.a. Baby Bull Leon White. And it was really great being with them, and they had some of the divas from TNA Wrestling Promotion with SoCal Val and a couple of the other female wrestlers, Winter, another character, Daphne, and it was really great being with people and actually being involved with the business. Now, how did you get involved in professional wrestling?
Well, I was working out at a Y. I was a power lifter. And I blew up. I was about between 250 and 260 pounds. And at one point, I broke the New York State powerlifting records in the Junior Olympics in New York.
Wow.
So, I did. I wound up doing a 750-pound squat. And then I went for 780 and blew both of my knees out. But I was approached by a guy named Murray Sachs, and he was with Toots Mondt. And Toots Mondt was a big promoter in New York, and brought me up to him, and it was Toots who gave me the name, Hank Daniels, a Minnesota farm boy. And I started training with a gentleman named Bibber McCoy. Bibber was an incredible wrestler, and he taught judo to the Coast Guard. He was my mentor. He trained me, and then I had the good fortune of meeting Gene LaBelle. Judo Gene LaBelle, who had...
Judo Gene.
Oh, wow. He wrestled, he played judo all over the world and beat everybody in the world. 300 matches and never lost a one. So it started from there. One of the first guys I wrestled, because I was getting a heck of a build-up, was Killer Kowalski.
Oh my gosh, Walter Kowalski! Wow.
Yes. In fact, my first introduction to California, I flew up. He met me at the airport and took me to breakfast, lunch, and dinner, checked me into the Montecito Hotel, and I'm wrestling him that night. I step into the ring, and I go to shake his hand, and he slapped me right across the face. And I looked at him. I said, "This is because I didn't leave a tip? What is that all about?" And we got into what they call a referee's lock, and I said, "Man, you're really putting the screws to me." And all I heard was, and I said, "Okay, I'll play your game." And I hit him with a forearm smash. And when I hit him, I was looking down, and I saw his feet, and after the shot, he never moved. I didn't even rock him back on his heels. And I said, "I'm in big trouble." And
Hank, can I ask you who won that fight?
Yeah, welcome. And in the locker room, he said to me, "You know what you said every time you ran past me?" I said, "I ran past you?" He said, "Yes," and you kept yelling, "Ma!"
Oh my gosh! I've got to tell you, I've had the honor and privilege of knowing Walter Killer Kowalski off and on over the years, and because I'm in the New England area, many of the up and coming wrestlers who trained under him, who've since gone on to prominent fame through whether it be the World Wrestling Entertainment Organization or any of the major wrestling organizations, and it was so sad when he recently passed away.
Yeah.
And I knew him and had the honor of meeting his wife on several occasions.
Right. At the Cauliflower Alley Club.
Exactly. Well, one of my instructors was a gentleman by the name of David German, and he was the martial arts advisor for Cauliflower Alley.
Oh,
and
wow.
I remember him talking about his first match when he had to fight Freddie Blassie.
Oh.
And the first thing they told him, he said, if he wants you to bleed, he'll make you bleed. He goes,
yes.
"What do you mean?" And he goes, "Freddie files his teeth so they're nice and sharp, so when he bites into your forehead, he makes you bleed." And I was like,
he's a vampire.
Oh, I'll tell you. Since you mentioned Killer Kowalski, we talk about history, Ms. Goldberg, and I'll give you one on why Killer Kowalski became Killer Kowalski. Walter Kowalski used to be a babyface wrestler, and he was wrestling a gentleman who went by the name, I believe it was Swede Henson. And they were having a feud around the country, and Swede had very, very pronounced cauliflower ears.
Oh, God.
And Walter had put him in a headlock, and he was cranking him, and he cranked him so hard at one point that Swede's ear literally tore off his head and flew off out of the ring and literally landed in someone's lap in the front row.
Oh, my God.
Men screamed like babies. Women screamed and passed out. It was horrific. So after the match, the promoter and Freed gets his ear back, and Walter feels terrible about this, and he brings him to the hospital. He feels terrible. They get his ear sewn back on. They come back to the promoter. He goes, "That's great." He goes, "What do you mean it's great? I ripped his ear off." No, it's fantastic. He says, "Have you seen today's paper?" He goes, "No, look, Killer Kowalski rips a man's ear off. We're going to make money off this thing." He goes, "But I thought I was the good guy." He goes, "No, the good guys don't make money. It's the heroes that make all the money."
Exactly.
And then he says, "Hey, maybe we could tear off your ear every night." He goes, "I don't think so."
Well, I thought I had heard he also, if it was another story, with Yukon Eric, that his ear came popped off on a drop kick.
Wow. I mean, back then, we look at cauliflower ears now in MMA and the martial arts field, and we don't think anything of it, but we don't realize. There was one match in the UFC I'll never forget. I mean, this guy's ear was hanging off by skin and a hope. And people don't realize, I mean, when all that calcium builds up into that,
exactly.
And it looks really, it can easily be torn off. It's a terrifying thing, but, you talk to pro wrestlers like Mick Foley about having their ear torn off, and, it's a whole new aspect to the reality of what happens. And anyone who says pro wrestling isn't a martial art has never been in the industry. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's exactly what Jimmy Snuka said to me. He says, I'm not really I did a little judo when I was younger. He goes, but what we do is martial arts. Think about when you watch the MMA fights now, and so many things that, now there's a lot more high flying and stuff like that. But the old days of real wrestling, let me tell you something. There was some contenders out there I wouldn't want to get in the ring with.
Oh, I wouldn't. I still wouldn't get in the ring with Gene LaBelle.
Yeah, Gene. It's funny too with Gene. He's another one. Yeah, you always see Gene on TV somewhere.
Yes.
If it's a ring or a referee, when someone gets, you always find Gene LaBelle being the guy beat up or whatever else. So.
He's one of the premier stuntmen of all time.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I was just
way
watching.
Back in the day, if I could just interject, just way back in the day, a couple of the biggest shooters in the ring were Gene LaBelle and Bruno Sammartino.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it's amazing that in the old days in the industry they would call them the shooters or the hookers, because these were the guys who would go in the carnivals from town to town.
Yep.
And if you had some good old boy who lifted tractors in his spare time and lifted the cow to have a glass of milk, a drink of milk, you had to have somebody who could take him out quick. So you had the Carl Gotches and the Luthez and Stu Harts. And, these were the guys who were taught to take these guys out and quickly.
Oh,
so
yeah. It's funny you mentioned Stu Hart.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. You have to, the eye burster. There's certain techniques that I've seen over the years that I'm like.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Please, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying Stu's one guy that used to call me every week, and he'd say, Lou, when are you coming down to Calgary? I said, why? He said, because I want to stretch you. I said, you're not stretching me, Stu. He said, oh, yeah, I'm going to stretch you. Just like I did my sons. I said, oh, my God.
Oh,
I said, we'll go back to Hank now.
I feel left out. I'm the only guy that was going to wrestle with you guys. So what can I tell you?
Oh gosh, it's funny though. There was one particular move that I'm not going to mention the name of the wrestler who I asked him to do it, but I said, look, I want to feel the eyeball burster. And he's like, what? I want to feel the cross. I want to feel the crossface that Stu Hart used to do that made the blood vessels in your eyeballs burst. And he goes, you want to feel that? Now, you got to understand, I'm a guy who wants to have Marvin Hagler to hit me with his left hook so I can know what it felt like.
Are you kidding?
You're a little sadistic, my man.
Wow. You really have a death wish.
I'm telling you, I was at the Heinz Auditorium one time on crutches because I had taught the Guardian Angels and I was wearing those wrestling shoes and broke the blade of my foot. And here I am on crutches, and I look at Bill Wallace and I'm going, "Would you run out, kick me in the head?" And he's going, "Are you kidding me? I can see it in the paper the next day. Bill Wallace beats on the handicapped."
Yeah, right.
Well, you want to, I mean, one of my instructors at Parker had a great phrase. He said, "To hear is to doubt, to see is to be deceived, to feel is to believe." And once you really, once you really feel it, it's a wonderful sadomasochistic tendency we have in the martial arts that we see something horrific done to someone, and we see the incredible pain they put in, and we go, "Me next."
Yeah, right.
You want to feel that because then there's no doubt in your mind. Then well, it works because I felt it and I know it works.
Oh, yeah, it's like asking Gene to put the chokehold on you, a sleeper hold.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the rubber chicken. Ooh.
And you'd be going to sleep.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, when you go to work with some of these people, study with them. I went to go study with David German. I got a call from literally the head of the LAPD SWAT team, and he called me up, and he was a black belt under a gentleman by the name of Jim Eliason. And he calls me up. He says, "Joe, you better be careful, man." And I'm like, "Why?" He said, David German's been known, if he don't like your attitude, he'll just choke you out and he'll leave you unconscious in front of his school. And it was true. He had done that in the past. And I said, "What are you talking about? I'm happy to see him. I'm really looking forward to this, I'm not copying an attitude. I just want to learn,
Wow.
But now, who did you say was the toughest opponent when you were working? You mentioned about Killer Kowalski. Was there anyone else of note that you look back and go, "What did I get myself into?"
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, Kowalski #1, and I forgot the gentleman's name. He was Hawaiian. He was huge. He did a couple films. Tanaka, thank you.
Oh, gosh.
I drop kicked Tanaka and I bounced off. And I was about 250, 255 pounds. And I hit the ropes and I was airborne. And I hit him right on the top of his chest. And I bounced off and he just laughed. And he shook his head. No. I went, "Oh, I'm in big trouble."
Oh, gosh. Wow. Well, I'll tell you a little bit about Teru Tanaka. Teru Tanaka's real name was Charlie Kalani, and he was originally from Hawaii, and he went to school with Ed Parker. Matter of fact, they were both on the football team together, and they were also neighborhood. They also lived in the same neighborhood in Kalihi, and the reason why they used to call him Professor Teru Tanaka, he was actually a professor in jiu-jitsu.
Really?
He had studied the Danzen-Ryu system of jiu-jitsu. Danzen means Sandalwood Mountain system, and he had studied with Henry Shishiro Okazaki. And matter of fact, I'm doing research right now on an upcoming DVD on the American Kempo Danzen-Ryu connection, and we're talking all about that. And matter of fact, Charlie Kalani was one of the only people who was ever promoted to the rank of 8th degree black belt through Mr. Parker's organization, the IKKA.
Wow.
And a lot of people didn't know that the only way you could get an 8th degree black belt or higher from Mr. Parker was in another martial art. That only people in American Kempo had the rank of 7th degree black belt or lower. But they'd known each other since they were in their teens. And
well, I'll tell you something about Ed Parker. I was appearing at the Copacabana with Tony Bennett, and so I go to train. I'm training at the Chinatown Dojo, and so I walk in, and there's Ed Parker, and he says, "You are a funny man." I said, "Oh, then you've seen my act." He said, "No, I saw your kata." Boy, did he deflate me.
Gosh.
I should have told him, "Come see my act. I'm even funny, that's all." And let me just interject here for a minute, and we'll get back to it. Just wanted for our listening audience, there's some great events coming up in the next couple weeks. Matter of fact, this weekend I'm leaving for Arizona on Thursday night.
Yeah, I'll be there.
John Pellegrini. You going to be there?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Then we'll have a good time then, Hank. I'll be out there in Arizona, leaving Thursday night. Then the weekend after that, there's Gary Alexander's dinner coming up. Also Hassan Khalik. We have a couple tournaments coming up there. We got the Tournament of Champions on December 9th. It's November 18th. And then also we have the Toys for Tots on the 9th with the Tasitanos. If anyone wants more information on those, just contact me on my Facebook or my email, and I'll give you more information on it. But some great events that I always support. And I think, people should be involved more and more of these type of events to see what's really going on in the martial art world. All right, guys.
Definitely MTA.
I would love to go and see Kathy and Frank, but I have not been invited.
Yeah, this is not the dinner actually. This is just a Toys for Tots thing they do on December 9th. It's not a money maker for them at all. They just do it and they collect money. Actually, it's the first year. It's their third anniversary, and this year I'm going to make it up there. Try to give them support and bring some stuff up there myself. So they're good people. They run a great event in Poconos.
Yes.
And let's give them a little hand. Other people that are around the area, I'd love to see them out there also, trying to help them out a little bit.
Terrific. They're great people.
All right. Now I know you're going for the weekend. Now I want to have a good time with you.
Terrific. Thank you.
I know the special guest this weekend now is you. They're bringing me out. I know Bill Wallace is coming and Cynthia Rothrock. So we should have a great time between the group of us. Yeah, I think Cynthia and I are going to be on the same flight, and the young lady that's my manager, she's also going to be coming up there. Oh, wonderful! All right, good. I'm looking forward now, more so than ever. Thank you, Alan. Okay, so let's get back. Joe, any more questions?
Well, yeah, there actually was one more, with if you don't mind, with the popularity of G.I. Joe, and they're in the process of redoing the sequel. I wanted to find out, again, how did you get, again, a lot of people know you from either your acting career, again, from your stand-up career, but a lot of people aren't familiar with your voiceover career, and I earlier heard them mentioning a little bit about your role, of course, as Dial Tone in the G.I. Joe TV series, animated TV series, and the movie. How did you get that role, and how did all that come about?
I was submitted for the part of Dial Tone, and I created a voice, and evidently they liked that particular voice that I did, and so I wound up doing it. In fact, I was at a G.I. Joe convention, I think about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and a guy came up to me, and he had tears in his eyes. And he said, to think that I've lived long enough to meet Dial Tone in person. And I went, wow. Okay. And he brought his whole family. He flew the family down to Florida.
Really?
It was a great time. There was a lady who played the Baroness, and she was doing, she does voices, and so the two of us, we were doing autograph shows, and what I do is I raise funds for disabled American veterans.
Okay.
Yeah, so far, and what I do is when I sell pictures or even the DVDs on Car 54, the proceeds go to the disabled vets. And so far, I've personally raised over $40,000 for the veterans.
Wonderful.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, one last question, and this is on a personal level because this is one of my guilty pleasures. Everybody has certain TV series that they've always liked for different reasons, but one of my personal favorites has to be Max Headroom.
Oh my God!
And you had a recurring role in that series, and if you could tell me about.
I played Ashwell, the head of the board of directors on Max Headroom. It was a very popular show in England, and they brought it here, and I was, cast on that, and unfortunately short-lived, because the gentleman that was running the network hated the show. He just didn't understand it, and he didn't want it. So we were in the middle of a shot, and they said, the guy came up and said, listen, it's a wrap. And we said, wow. He said, how can you wrap for the day? We still got 2 3/4 pages to shoot. And he said, it's not a wrap for the day, it's a wrap for the show.
Really? Wow.
And they canceled up at mid-afternoon, and we were absolutely devastated.
Back to the unemployment line.
Yeah,
well, it's funny.
My first name.
Well, I literally had just seen a new film that just came out, and it has a group of actors, and it's about this support group that all these people have different forms of cancer and whatnot. And one of the actors was, of course, the lead role from Max Headroom.
Oh,
and
wow.
And that, I literally just saw it yesterday, and I was like, and the minute I knew I was going to do the interview and talk to you today, I said I gotta mention Max Headroom, because that was such a, for its time, it was such. And when it came to America, and then at the early stages of the internet, where episodes were being played, it just was a real interesting state for the internet and the computer age as well.
Yes.
And to see that you were part of that was really a joy to see.
Thank you. Yeah, it was quite a joyful time in life, and it was just amazing going to work and doing these different shows, and just keep questioning, how did it happen?
Well, Hank, you got a lot more to do. I'm not going to let you give up, of course. So keep pushing it. And, now you see why I brought my co-host, Mr. Robello, on tonight, because this guy finds stuff out about people that you shouldn't even know about sometimes.
Oh, it's amazing.
Anyway, he's a good guy. And, Blue, do we have any calls? I don't know if any calls were held through. We let them go. What we do?
Yeah, we held off the calls because we wanted to hear more from Hank, and we knew when Wikipedia Joe would come on that he would be able to actually furnish us with some good information and some good questions, which he definitely did, with his background and everything. But, Hank, why don't you let our listeners know how to find out more about you, how to follow your past and future career, and more importantly, how they can get your book when it comes out.
Okay, right now, I don't have the date on that, but I do. If they want to buy pictures of 3 Days of the Condor or Car 54, they can contact me through my manager, and her name is D.M. Smith. D is in David, M is in Mary, Smith, and it's 310-213-2869. And as I said, all the proceeds go to the disabled American veterans.
Well, your audience too, they need to get a hold of you also. I mean, they can come to me also, and I'll transfer anything that needs to get done too.
Terrific. Thank you, Alan.
Anytime. I think it's important that you're doing things like that too, and people should realize that. So it's definitely a good cause. Well, it's not that time to wrap our show up. But I do really honored that we have my guest on, Hank. And Mr. Wikipedia, I like that, Joe. You got a new name.
Let's stick with Kempo Joe. Wikipedia's got too many letters in it.
Okay. I don't know. I don't think we can go with Kempo. I got to go with Wikipedia. Nothing's going to change my mind now. That's it. You're done. You're done, buddy. You come on this show, you're done.
I can see the letter from Wikipedia citing legal action. Nah, man, I'll stick with Kempo Joe.
Yeah. No need any lawsuits there. But I want to say I do urge our listeners, if you're going to go and you want to donate to disabled veterans, things like that, of course you have the Wounded Warrior Project, things of that nature. But also, if you go to Hank Garrett's site, you go find out, you go buy a picture, you'll get something, and he's going to be taking that money and utilizing it for that cause, so you'll have something to show for it as well, so you get a memento out of the deal. So it's not bad for you to do, because Hank Garrett is doing some great things out there for our disabled veterans, for the people that fought for our freedom, because freedom's not free, as we all know. So, Alan, I'll hand it over to you.
I just want to say, if again people try to get on to call the Red Cross, donate some money for our unfortunate neighbors around the country here that had this problem with Sandy. And just an honor to be on with Joe and my friend Hank and Lou, of course. Every time on, we just bring up new things, and it gets me smarter too, because I don't know all these things, and I learn a lot myself when I'm on the air. So I just want to thank you guys again, and anything you guys want to finish up with, be my guest.
Thank you, Alan.
First of all, the honor is all mine. Thank you for inviting me onto the show to begin with. Mr. Garrett, it's an honor and a privilege to have the opportunity to speak with you. You don't get many chances like this, and I really have to thank Sifu Goldberg for even inviting me onto the show, and I hope I can be of some assistance.
Terrific.
Anytime.
Alan, I'll see you Thursday.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Okay. Hey, by the way, I checked the weather out there. It's not as nice as I thought it was going to be, so I got to bring a jacket. It says it's about 60 degrees. So.
Too much. But thanks for all our listeners for tuning in with the great Sifu Alan Goldberg. We had the fantastic Hollywood. I'm going to call you a Hollywood icon, Hank Garrett. Great guy, beautiful person. And then, of course, we have our new addition, Wikipedia Joe. Yeah, I went there. Don. Thanks, guys. And we'll be back next week, next Tuesday live with the Action Martial Arts Power Hour with another great guest. Just keep in mind to find out more about the Action Martial Arts Magazine, Hall of Fame, Hall of Honors, and the great weekend that's happening in January at the Tropicana. Go to actionmagstore.com. Check it out, because you don't want to miss it, guys. And thank you for coming on the show. Hank, thank you so much for being a gentleman, and it's been an honor.
My pleasure. Thank you so very much for having me.
Thank you.
Hi.
Audience, say it with me. Legendary. It's going to be 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 legendary.
The ultimate martial art experience. Action Martial Arts Magazine Hall of Fame. January 25th to 26th this year. Don't miss it. It's bigger and better than ever. More stars, more people, bigger rooms. We're expanding everything. Friday night parties, seminars. So be there. You need to call me, 718-856-8070. I'll tell you more.
You're listening to UCW Radio, in your face.
If you try to remember, you will lose. Empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water.
All of the fighters that ever set foot on this planet, I'm the only world champion, United States national champion. I'm a two-time national kata champion. I was never beaten in kata. Be proud of it.
The Action Martial Arts Power Hour.